Welcome back, folks, to the SMITE 2 Founders Series. Jorby and Inbound bringing you through EMEA. We just got done watching Project Win reverse sweep, chase the enemy, and take that third spot in the standings. And now they got to go up against Mega Plumbers, who has one of you said your favorite junglers in Mastkill, Inbound. But I'm super excited to see Project Win to see if they can continue this momentum.
Yeah, I mean, there is steps that they took last year, as we talked about at the end of it, that every game they got better, and every game their P's and B's improved. And if they can keep carrying that on, because I do think this is an uphill battle for them. I do think that the team entirely is they have experience on the side. They have a lot of skill. I think Mastkill's a really good jungler. But again, every game that they improve is every game that they get closer to these top teams. I mean, this is like that first hurdle. DDK is that next hurdle, but this is the first one in front of them. This Mega Plumbers team has a lot of talent and a lot of experience, but again, one game at a time. There are going to be downsides to every game. There are going to be upsides to every game. There's going to be P's and B's issues. There's going to be comm issues. You just have to attack those head on and slowly improve. And as you said, they can do this. This is not like an unwinnable game. And if they win this one, they basically guarantee themselves top 3.
Yeah, I think the gameplay showed last that they're able to adjust, and I think that's the biggest thing when you are trying to punch to that next level or get to that next hurdle, right? Your ability to adjust, because good teams will adjust to you, and so you have to be able to match that ebb and flow. Project Win, it's another chance to show that here, but I do like this Mega Plumbers team, and showing the standings. I think Mega Plumbers, they are in the mix. This is a big one for Project Win. They could take that number 2 spot. Talked about this match being a big one for sure. But a lot of talk on Mastkill, but a guy that I really loved watching last week on Mega Plumbers was Sager, one of the most ridiculous solo Bacchuses in the last chance qualifiers that we've seen so far. And even when he wasn't on Bacchus, he was still doing work. And so I feel like the focus may continue to be on the solo lane matchup between Hugador and Sager. That might be a really fun matchup to keep our eye on, which we no doubt will, but also in this jungle as well with these two teams. But Project Win getting a win here pretty much would guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. You would be 3-1. It'd be hard to shake it out when you have the tiebreakers over both Chase the Enemy and Mega Plumbers if you win this game. So I think this pretty much confirms yourself into the playoffs if your Project Win, whereas they might actually, now that I'm looking at it, they may just make it no matter what, since they own that head-to-head against Chase the Enemy, and there's no way that Let's Go Asgard has a chance of coming back. So Project Win, you could just get the one up, get a little bit better seeding here in Group A.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm pretty sure they are just almost guaranteed here. And you want to improve your seeding, though. That is always a thing. So this is still going to be a very important game for Project Win. And I think you're 100% right highlighting that solo lane. Are they going to give Odin? Like, there are questions on our mind. Is Odin something that we're going to see Hugador play again? It's obviously not something that they prio, so there is a chance that it's let through. It's not something that they top 2 pick or they top pick and it's picked by the enemy, because, I mean, he stated it. It is a character that he's comfortable with. It's good in laning. It's good in the late game, but it's not something he feels like they have to value. It's not like it's a Zeus or a Sobek. I mean, even like the Loki Jingwei are very valuable, high prio picks. And we've also seen, as you said, Sager plays Bacchus. So there's also, maybe he just gets this Odin god because Sager doesn't want to play it. It's not a super high prio god, and there's a lot of other prio elsewhere.
Well, let's see how it shakes out. We got picks and bans ready, and no doubt I should expect the Zeus auto ban unless you're going to pick him. Don't ban Anubis and then not pick Zeus. That's all I'm asking. But it's a different game, different team here for Project Win. They have banned Zeus, or they banned him twice, 2 out of the 3 games last time, and there's the 3rd ban for Zeus on Project Win. They showed you why you should ban him. So no surprises here, and I'm sure the Sobek ban is incoming for Mega Plumbers.
Yeah, the only thing I can think is that they really don't like a lot of matchups into Zeus. Like, they don't want to first pick it. And I mean, why would you? Jingwei's uncounterable. Sobek's uncounterable. Let's just first pick one of them. Even Loki has very few counters. And I think Project Win has kind of found their niche on this first pick side, where it's, let's throw away ban Zeus so there's no threat that they pick it. And then let's just pick the assassin or the hunter or the Sobek that is left open. And with how Hugador was talking about the Sobek, I expect a Sobek pick over even that Loki. That Loki is still very good, but he was praising Sobek, and no surprise they first pick it.
Yeah, literally in the interview, just got done talking about how much he loves that Sobek right now. And Jing Wei, actually the one getting banned out by Mega Plumbers. They do immediately follow up with the Loki. Again, those high priority picks you were talking about, and the Odin right through. So, but Project Win do get that Sobek. Now, you know, you're kind of open here on a couple of different routes. But how do you see, if you're on Project Win, like, what are you prioritizing outside of this Fenrir?
It might just have to be the Anubis. My only worry with Anubis is, yes, I think he's probably the second best mage available, but his matchup into Odin feels really difficult for a multitude of reasons. He can't get out of the cage. He can't lifesteal. He's really reliant on his team to peel him out there unless it goes super late and he can just one-shot the Odin. He's confident with it, though. Samichu is not worried. He's willing to play this Anubis into that matchup. I do think it's a very good matchup into Loki, though, so it's like a not great into one god, but really good into the other one. So we're fine to just pick it. We also have this very strong Sobek to dive their backline. Mega Plumbers locking in this CERN, though. I'm a little worried about this CERN. How is a CERN going to live this Sobek dive, this Fenrir dive? I mean, I guess Ares is an answer, so Fenrir can't brutalize. Sobek can't pluck. But the game goes later. We see Ares have a lot less value. He has great value in the early game, great value in the mid game. But as the game goes longer, a lot more purifications, a lot more beadses. It makes it really hard to pilot Ares in the late game.
Yeah, I think that Project Win feel really comfortable with the way they've maneuvered in their comp as well, because I think they went against the Ares, against Chase the Enemy, and ended up winning that game with Jude Muffin on it. But it is a little different. It is Kalas Ares. And I've watched Kalas on that Ares. He's quite ridiculous on it. So, you know, you need early game and Soul showing up. We haven't seen Soul in quite a bit. An interesting pick, to say the least. How do you feel about that one, Inbound? I need to know your thoughts on this one.
I think it's like a counter pick. I think it's a really good pick into Odin. It's a really good pick into Ares. Makes it very hard for you to ever get pulled or to really ever get locked into the cage. He played the on her last time. It didn't look too great. I like the Soul Prio a lot more. And Raw last picked by the Mega Plumbers. And we have to say, Ares is like the Callus god. He's very good on it. Wolfie was kind of that Raw guy, like before there was really a Raw guy, when Raw was not that good. And now that Raw's in an, I mean, I gotta say he's in a better spot in Smite 2 than Smite 1 because there's just way less gods and he's way more viable. But the ability for them to be able to just sustain and then look for engages and then go back and sustain and then look for another engage. It's going to be difficult for Project Win to play into that, but they do have the built-in anti-heal with Sobek. They do have very easy ways to get onto this Raw, so Wolfie's positioning is going to be really important.
Well, we'll see how it all works out. But that's it for the picks and bans. Let's go ahead and hop into the arena. Project Win on 2 straight game wins right into this match against Mega Plumbers, and picking up this order side again. Hugador on the Sobek. I don't know if I'm just a Hugador believer at this point, or if I just listen to this man praise Sobek and then like they literally just let him get Sobek right afterwards. I don't know if that's an omen or not, but it definitely feels like an omen. You know, you might have to light an incense candle or two on the side of Mega Plumbers, but who knows? I mean, you look Sager. I put respect on Sager. I think that's going to be an insane solo matchup in general. We'll see how that one works out.
And the Sobek is opting for this Sands of Time start for 2 reasons. One, just for spamming ability. He's got decently long cooldowns, about 12 seconds for every single one of them. The Sands of Times drops him all down to about 11 seconds. So it's just that extra spam ability safety with it. Also allows you to go just a lot more health pots for sustain. Sobek is very strong in this early laning phase because he can harass and clear at the same time, kind of like an Odin can. And he also sets up ganks really well. So I am going to keep my eye on impact and mass kill. Where do they path? Are they going to look to gank solo lane, or are they going to play more towards duo lane? And something that we haven't touched on yet is Judas is on this Fenrir again, and Impact is playing Alma jungle. So a little bit of a switch up, because I think most people would expect probably Sobek support Alma jungle or Alma solo and then Fenrir jungle. They kind of switch it up completely, and they just want to give Hugador this Sobek, because I do think that there is something to be said about his best role being solo lane, especially after the change to how much damage his 3 does with that poison and the spread and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it will be an interesting one. But yeah, Judas Priestley, who, I mean, we're kind of picking on him a little bit for just the XP diff, but that's not really been a problem for him. Like, the value that he's been able to create with the Fen alts and really just leaping in for some cheeky stuns. Early on in the duo lane in that last game against Chase the Enemy, though, he was taking some fights that you may not have wanted to see him take. He's definitely extremely aggressive in this Fenrir. I mean, you kind of have to be, but against this Ares, it's so hard to really get as aggressive as you want to on those chains as they do come out. And he's just taking a ton of damage. They're going to fall right on top of him, and it's the same story as last time. Inbound, Zany gets the kill on Judas Priestley. He gets caught out completely. There's nothing he can do about the chains.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this is a counter matchup. This is what we expected to see when the Ares and Fenrir matchup was played. But Callus isn't missing chains, Jorby. That's not what he does. He picks Ares and he hits nearly every chain that he throws out. And so I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Callus on this Ares. As I said, he misses a chain, but he won't miss another one.
That's the only one.
That's it. You only get one.
We need the stat. We need the stat of like the chain accuracy. What's the percentage of chains Callus hits? Because that's probably the only one I've seen him miss. Yeah. They'll have to sit right next to their tower for a little bit. Samichu was absolutely ridiculous on that Zoo. Is going to get caught out here a little bit, and there's just simply no escape for you. Jungler rotates in, and Mass Kill will get that early Loki kill. He's also disgusting on that Loki, so getting those early kills, getting a little bit more gold, trying to get online, and it's Mega Plumbers who are actually forcing these lanes forward for them against Project Win early on.
I will say, it doesn't seem like Project Win cares too much about the early game, and they also don't just play it very well. They play it just kind of, let's just survive this early portion, and then when it matters and when it's later in the game and when we're taking 5v5s, that's when we'll really turn on the jets, because the 2v2 that Judas and Nickel have played has not been too impressive. Their impressiveness comes in the later portions of the game where Judas is baiting out 2 ultimates and winning a 1-for-2 in 5v5 team fights, and Nickel is just positioning really well in the late game and getting a good amount of damage off. Like, that's where their strength lies. And I think the same thing could be said with Samichu. I don't think his laning phase was all that great, but they, again, don't care about this laning phase. It's that 5v5 late game that they really care about. My only issue with that is this Mega Plumbers team has got a phenomenal team fight in terms of how well they play together and how well they stay on the same page. So when it gets later into the game, eyes on how the 5v5 plays. How are they going to group? How are they going to, like, maybe try to split or something like that? But before that, double jump, double stun.
And get that brutalize off as well with a little bit of support from Impact. Forces the blink defensively out of Callus, and that's not how you want to use that blink on Ares. So you'll take the little dubs where you can get them if your Project Win. Impact going to invade as well. Try to get this purple buff out of Mega Plumber's hands, and they do indeed get it. And it's on Impact now, but you get chained, and Judas Priestley, I mean, look, you said it, right? This is kind of what happened to him in every other game. I mean, just no success here early on for him.
But on top of that, there's a 2v3 on left side. They got a kill. At the same time, Masskill's ganking right lane, and Hugador can't get out of the cage because he opts for this Sunder. So that is something that we have to know also. Hugador cannot get out of the cage. So when we don't know where Masskill is, or when he doesn't know where Masskill is, he has to play very safe because he's just going to die. This is already a really big lead by Mega Plumbers, and they snowball really hard. Raw is one of the best snowballing mid laners because he has sustain and he's really good on objectives. So there's a big worry right now that this game is already 2,000 gold, but very quickly this could just balloon to 3, 4, 5,000.
Yeah, soon we'll start taking a look at that Gold Fury as well and really make things uncomfortable for Project Win. Early on, it is Hugador. He is getting harassed a little bit. The objectives haven't gone his way, but he finally gets his first Warhorn. He'll maybe be able to create a little bit more pressure throughout all the lanes. Samichu's getting a little look, and we'll throw a wrap just to keep you out of there for now. And there's Judas Priestley as well taking a look, and it looks like another fight maybe starting to produce itself in the right side of the jungle near the mid lane as Judas Priestley does jump onto the back line. Raw sitting right on top of it. Fight for the ult. Got it. And Judas Priestley out of the fight for now, but it's a full one as the Ama ult is forced for Impact to leave with the chains there. And Callus, that's the effect that he has in the lobby. As soon as Ares comes to play here in the first 10 minutes, you're going to have a tough time at it. Another fight on the other side as well. And Nickel forced out a little early here. Zany has been getting that early advantage, as he should be, on that Cernanos against Soul. It will be Mega Plumber starting that Gold Fury inbound.
And This is just free. This is the exact thing that CERN wants to do and Raw wants to do. They have so much damage, so much sustain. 5-minute, 55-second Gold Fury. Jorby, this is a lot quicker than Project Win is used to. Chase the Enemy didn't push the game like this. They were pushing the lead and stuff like that, but it wasn't this quickly. How is Project Win going to be able to respond? They're going to have to make a play somewhere. Impact just hit level 5. With his level 5, he was forced to use his ultimate, so he doesn't have that same level 5 gank. He doesn't have, you know, hard CC stun that he can just use if they're forcing out his ultimate. It is a little worrisome. How is Project Win really going to make plays? But right here, it looks like Fenrir's going to try to get Zany.
I mean, this is the big tester match, right? You went 0-2 against DDK, top of the group. And this is where you're finding a team with a lot of experience on it, despite being in LCQ. You know, you can talk about the team's ability to adjust. So even if Project Win end up falling out of this game entirely, it will be interesting to see how that game 2 goes. But by no means are they out of this one at all. They just got to find a way to stop this bleeding as a hop right over the ult and actually ult out of Judas Priestley. He's just going to leave because a bite surely means that you die if you try to go for it. And still, Mega Plumbers are finding every advantage. Going for the invades on the jungle. Nickel might get caught here and be in a little bit of trouble. Drops the ult immediately as he heard the sound cue. And you're still getting absolutely lit up. Mass Kill is going to win that fight 10 times out of 10.
And this is just bad. They're losing their buffs. Their timers are getting known. Callus is just walking at Judas right now and just 100-0ing up almost by himself. There is a very big issue with the pressure on the map because right now Project Win has 3 losing lanes and they have no jungle pressure. So they have to try to make a play somewhere. Otherwise, this game is going to just continue ballooning. There is a very quick timer coming up where if Project Win doesn't make a play and get a big win, this game's going to be over very quickly.
Why is Judas jumping in without Nickel there? Judas Priestley just jumps into Callus and Zany and says, all right, kill me. And Nickel is still in the middle of teleporting the lane. That is not what you want to see for Project Win in this duo lane. You have to respect Mega Plumbers duo here. You need to play together as a unit there. You just jump in, try to get a stun to try to keep them out of the tower, but you had support on the way. Why not try to delay and wait for Nickel to get there? Actually get something valuable out of the fight. Instead, it's a constant 1v2. Callus was waiting in the grass, but Nickel had the 3-up. He's not too worried about it. Just hoping he can push the lanes up a little bit here, but still inbound. Not what you want to see out of this duo from Project Win.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. There is a big issue with trying to make plays that aren't there, and it is a really big issue when it puts your ADC also behind. I think the bright side is the discrepancy is mostly in support. Callus is massive, don't get me wrong. It's gonna be very hard to deal with this Ares. At least Nickel is the same level as Zany, so there's not that even bigger issue.
And the fight in mid as well, Samichu getting harassed. Mass Kill has been silently, slowly building up a lead in the jungle. 2 levels ahead of the Amaterasu, who's trying to get a gank done in the solo lane. Sobek tossed back, Odin trying to escape, but little by little they chip it away, and Judas Priestley will pick up a kill over in the solo lane. Now can get control of this one. It's been difficult for Hugador to actually get control of that lane. A fight over in the duo lane as well. Nickel just gonna try to man mode it. Polymorph comes out, but a lot of damage with that full passive of Soul. Just can't quite get the kill. You do force Zany out though, and that's a nice play. You called it. Nickel holding on to the level and keeping it even against Zany allows him to be able to box like that right in front of him. And another fight as well, as Mass Kill takes a little bit of damage, but he's got some support behind him as well.
And that's just a really good play there by Nickel. He knows he's stronger than Zany is at this exact moment. Braggy's is a much better spike in terms of damage output than Devs's. Doesn't really matter if Devs is stacked. The on-hit damage that you get from Braggy's is just too much. On top of Soul passive, Nickel is a very strong 1v1 character currently. I think the one issue is that his sustain is really only coming from his 1, but there's just not enough damage from Zany for him to actually be worried about it. So I like that Nickel knows his strengths and he plays up on it. That's a very, very good play because right now, Nickel is like the one player on Project Win that isn't behind. He's actually ahead. We have 2 levels in support, 2 levels in jungle. I guess now that they got that kill in solo lane, there's an even level in solo lane, but even then, I think Odin at this point in the game with the team being ahead the way it is going to have a much easier job in team fights than the Sobek is. Sobek into Ares, he's not going to be able to pluck really. Sobek into Raw, his damage is going to be getting healed up. And look at what like Callus is even able to do right now. He just can play in the enemy jungle and he's not worried.
He literally just sat there and waited for Judas to cross his path. I think the only reason that wasn't looking scarier for Judas is because Callus did miss another chain, but he did hit the other two. It's been difficult for sure, but I think you talk about Nickel's soul. Hang on a second. Mega Plumbers are on this Gold Fury, and I think Nickel knows. Will he get there in time? No. Wow. He did not know how much time he did have either. He's going to try to get out of there. He may get collapsed on here. He has some support coming from Hugador on the teleporter. Maybe that'll be enough, but also the Odin is rotated. Sager's here to dance too. The 3's done, and they're all around you. They'll follow you the whole way to your grave. Mass kill will get credit for it. And Nickel gets caught looking at that Gold Fury, and the support could not be there for Project Win.
Norby is getting worse and worse every minute into this game. Wolfie actually getting Dominus back. Can't see the ultimate. Does he have the damage to trade into the Anubis? The Anubis gets the kill to meet you, but it's traded with Mast kill. What a raw ult by Wolfie there.
Yeah, I was about to mode that one himself. Did enough damage. And actually getting caught a little bit here. Amaterasu trying to survive, and Impact simply cannot. Callus will pick up another kill, and yeah, this is not looking good for Project Win at all. You had one or two positive things to look at. You had that gank in solo lane and Nickel like we've been talking about, but everything else has just been... I mean, when Callus is just sitting in your jungle, no matter where, doing whatever he wants, it doesn't really matter. You haven't forced this Ares to actually respond to any gameplay. You just keep walking into his chains. And look, you're just going to be in the prison cell, in the dungeons, all night. Unless you can figure out a way to actually find wins here. But it just may be too little, too late. I don't want to say that with almost a 5k gold lead. It's not insurmountable by any stretch of the means. You still have Nickel going tit for tat here in the duo lane. But it's not looking pretty whenever multiple bodies are committed on a play.
And the worst part for all this for Project Win is they actually a 1v1 taken in left lane, getting really low. The dash is in, and it's solo.
Yep. Oh, good jukes. Nice, Callus. That's the proper support play right there. And Hugador also catching some action here. Just trying to get some support as Judas Priestley comes in as well. And they want to fight it. We'll get some of that poison out, toss around to the side. And a little spin knock-up action to keep Sager down a little bit. They will get that buff, but look at the health bars. They still want to fight it. Judas Priestley here as well. There's no support coming for Project Win, and there's all support coming for Mega Plumbers. They might be in a little bit of trouble as Callus gets involved. Zany's there as well, and Wolfie nails another raw ult. Judas Priestley goes down. You overstayed your welcome here over on the right side of the jungle. Now Callus will ult. Hugador gets pulled back again. Zany will get the pokes, but Sobek is pretty beefy, and it'll be hard to pull him down, but still, Project Win seeing a little bit of what we saw in that game 1, which is overstaying their welcomes when they're down.
Yeah, and they got a lot of damage out here going for the enemy blue buff. The issue is, though, again, another objective going to Mega Plumbers. We've had 2 gold figures already done. Now a Pyromancer. I mean, you were saying 5k is not insurmountable, but it's a lot. But it is more than that. It is pressure on the map. We've said it a few times now. Callus is just walking through the jungle, and he's not worried about getting killed. He's got 3 forms of CC immunity. He's got the blink, so he's got 2 dashes with Circe's Hexstone and his blink. There is very few ways to actually kill Callus right now with how fed he is, and that's the one you need to be able to kill. You have to be able to kill the enemy support when they are, I don't want to say disrespecting, but like playing as aggressively as they are, because he's just walking in the jungle.
Aye. Yep, and then just walking all over Nickel. Ares has the sun shield out. Absolutely no burns on him. God of War continues to deliver here for Callus. Just so strong on it. And Mega Plumbers, I think, showing you the experience difference. Not in the arena. I mean, certainly in the arena right now, but also just with the players and in the individual ability. It started with the mass kill first blood. And look at the farm. Almost all 5 of Mega Plumbers ahead in that gold per minute. And Judas Priestley, I think there could be easy adjustments made if you're at this point. You might even start thinking about game 2 with the way it's going. They're just not finding ways or any kind of presence in the jungles. but like, you have to find a way to force these fights. You said that Project wins, you know, their bread and butter was that 5v5 portion of the game, the team fight. But they're just not winning enough to actually, by the time they actually get there and they start grouping, the XP difference, the item difference is just too much right now for them to overcome. All the gold theories are gone. Everything is gone for Project Win. They simply don't have an answer right now.
And I think you're 100% right talking about this game. This is getting to that 10,000 mark where it is insurmountable, where it is the enemy team has to make multiple mistakes. Right now, the issue with Project Win is who can they kill? They can't kill the Ares who's sitting in their jungle. They can't kill this Odin for sure. Can they maybe kill Mast? Yeah, but they have to force his beads out first. Like, there is a bunch of big hurdles to overcome. And that's without even including how much the gold lead is right now. Like, maybe they can kill Zany because he has no beads with one Fenrir ult. But, Jorby, this is not a good spot at all for Project Win.
No, not what you want to see. And Nickel did get that mid tower, but that's about the only thing that's gone right for them so far is Nickel's gameplay. And even then, he's been targeted. When you only have one problem to really deal with, for Mega Plumbers, it's really easy. It's like, all right, we'll just quick rotate over to Duo. All right, see you, Soul. And now we can take care of business on the rest. And there has been a lot of attention paid over to Hugador as well. A lot of rotations, making sure that Sobek is not as effective as they're hoping. And Zany actually taking down Nickel in the 1v1s. Now Nickel's not even getting an advantage there. And Project Win have to just abandon everything. Hope they could get one small objective for themselves. And yeah, quickly approaching the point of no return here, almost 20 minutes in.
And with Fire Giant available very soon, Gold Fear available very soon, I expect to see a little grouping from Mega Plumbers to try to push the lead and push the game even faster. Because right now you don't want to get, you know, lackadaisical in how you're going to be playing the game. You want to still be making sure you're making plays, which is, I mean, clearing left, looking to use the teleporter. They're just trying to get wards down. They're actually looking for a pull. They think this game is so dire in this current state that they have to pull this Fire Giant right now.
And there's Kalas coming in. He's got the info. Everybody is starting to come through. You see Maskill also use the teleporter, but health is just not dropping fast enough on this Fire Giant because Sager's here to dance as well. He'll cage out a little bit of that, and this is turning into a disaster for Project Win as Judas Priest got the ult, got the grab, and maybe they could get a kill, but Wolfie ults again, and Samichu goes down in a heap. And this is troublesome. Hugador had the ult. He does some damage, but that Fire Giant drops. It's Mega Plumbers for sure as they wipe people down. Hugador actually does get a kill on the Wolfie, but is it too little too late as Nickel tries to hold, tries to box. He's doing some damage, trying to get Sager, jumps on the other side, and you get bombed. Somehow Kalas gets that kill. But yeah, there you go. Nothing for it. And wait, did Project Win get that Fire Giant there? And they ended up all dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it seems like whichever team pulls Fire Giant. Actually, I guess they pulled it there, so they did confirm it. But a 1 for 3 is not very good. You're gonna die. Judas dies nearly instantly. Middle tower is getting taken, or Middle Phoenix is getting taken. It is a. This is the point right here, Jorby, that I personally would start to be talking about next game in P's and B's, because this game is all over. This is 18-3, 10,000 gold, at least an item everywhere in build differential. The base has been broken. There's really nothing else to be done except talking about what you're going to be doing next game. And realistically, surprisingly also, I think this Loki is a little bit of an issue for Maskill. I think he's just never known where he is, and he's kind of just making plays everywhere. He's ganking duo, ganking solo, and they're not really able to punish him. I think you have to get Maskill onto something else.
I mean, I think on the other side, this Fenrir has to go. It just hasn't been the effect that Judas Priestley wants. Like, you need something that is just with a little more peel. They just don't have like any peel outside of the wrap on Anubis, outside of an ult. And I mean, Hugador, he just hasn't had the effect that you've wanted him to have in the team fight. Sure, he was able to zone out a little bit with that ult, but Nickel gets 1v3'd here, and you're not getting anything done. Unstoppable on the side of Mega Plumbers, and that pretty much describes how the entire game has gone. Sure, you ult, you get a little bit of damage here, but as Wolfie has shown before, you know, it's still a little too much for you to handle there. Still, you'll take that pick if you are Judas Priestley. And now the Gold Fury, the Ancient Fury, going down to Mega Plumbers. Even though you're getting these picks, you need to get the tier 2 in response. See how quickly they can melt it, but without the health bars, it's going to be tough because they were rotating quickly. They knew they had to leave, and they'll just chase them down here.
And it looks like a fight might happen here. A little bit further forward. Got the beads forced out on Mast Kill. But again, they're just going to take this fight.
And Hugador actually forcing Mast Kill out. We'll toss it back right into his team. And the Sob Execute is ready. And see you later. The new Execute on the Sobek call, helping to confirm the kill on Mast Kill. That's about all that they could hope for. You get a couple of picks and you still might lose some Ichu here. Nice little zone. Odin can't quite get there. Sager forced out back into Hugador. Hang on a second. Gets tossed right back into the Soul and gets deleted. Nickel takes down Sager. And a couple of picks here, but look at Zany making sure you're getting some value out of here by taking down that tower and keeping that gold lead secured. So while you won that fight, you lost the tier 2 on the left.
And it's almost like a Mega Plumbers baiting him into take that fight on the right so they can just keep farming in like the left, because Wolfie got picked. The Wolfie death was very bad. It was bad positioning. He got picked up. He had no beads available, and he was in middle by himself as his team was ganking left. It's just, they're so far ahead right now. Doesn't really matter. They killed 3 and their gold lead still is expanding. The gold lead is still expanding because Zany is just pushing down left, and there's really nothing in terms of objectives that Project Win is getting. The upside though is that they do have a level 20 Sobek. They have a level 20 Anubis. The only issue is that Soul is level 16, Alma's 18 with only 4 items. And you compare it to like the other side and it's 1919, 2020, getting to full builds at this point, or 1 item off. And we've seen how much damage Zany is doing right now at 5 items. He's very close to finishing his starter, and he's very close to starting into his next item. And you compare that to the Soul, who's just finished her 4th item. So we have an entire item differential on Zany. Zany's just gonna be shredding through anyone and everyone that walks in front of him.
Look over on the right side. Hugador and Judas Priestley will sit underneath. We'll see what they can do. Hugador has actually been doing a lot of work on that displacement on the Sobek in the bright spots for Project Win in game 1. He's been kind of at the center of that. Sometimes it's been Nickel as well, but having a fight against this Sager is going to be difficult. The cage comes out, Bob comes out, you get an ult, but it barely does anything, and you can box all day, but it's like boxing Floyd Mayweather, simply too much defense, and you can't whittle him down enough.
That was good. I liked that. Mayweather too much defense. That was a good one.
Thank you.
And with that 1v1, there's no real push here for this Phoenix. This is mostly just a, let's kill him in left so he can't farm. Let's push down right so they can't help him out. And let's just get ready for this next Fire Giant. We have this raw. There's really no worry. It doesn't matter if we take any poke, and we're full health anyway. So should be just about a free Fire Giant here. But I like what Impact is opting to do here. Just pushing out left, trying to get farm, because that's what you need right now. You need to get farm to even up this game.
Yeah, most of your towers are already gone. This Fire Giant, not as critical, especially when you're down. You need to be able to even something up on the map. So Fire Giant does fall down. Hugador and Judas Priestley took a look at it. They've been roaming together in a lot of these fights. Judas Priestley is actually deep in enemy territory right now. Everyone kind of split. Not really where you want to be, with everyone bearing down on this right Phoenix. Mega Plumbers will look to push the issue. You got the Fire Giant. Time to take down the rest of these objectives. Hugador sitting in front of it. The rest of his team backing. You see him immediately get stunned and blown out. Judas Priestley forces the beads out of Kalas, and Kalas pops the ult, grabs Judas Priestley, and there's no escape for you, buddy. You got absolutely obliterated. And the Phoenix will hold for now, but Judas Priestley out of the arena, and Mega Plumbers will start to push forward. The chains are out, locking him down. There's no escape for Hugador. He gets caged. Will at least survive by diving in with this Sobek ult, but you're going to lose all your Phoenixes, and we talked about it for the last 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes felt like a prelude as all the Phoenixes drop, and they'll wait for the final fight to end this one on the Titan. You still got 4 alive. Maybe if you could find a pick, you could survive for a little bit longer, but this Phoenix slowly whittling down. It does go down, and now Sager jumps in. We'll start the fight. He gets blown up. We'll be helping out with a little bit of sustain as well. You have him on the back line. Hits the ult. Zany will get the kill on Nickel. Hugador, barely any health left as well, and slowly but surely, Zany picking them off. And that should do it. Mega Plumbers dominate game number 1. Project Win, absolutely no answer.
And 100% absolutely no answer is the best way to say it. This game was all Mega Plumbers since minute 1. Plays were being made. They were going for Gold Furies at 5 minutes, Gold Fury on respawns. And besides maybe a play or two pre-10 minutes, it almost seemed like Project Win were just hoping the game didn't get out of control instead of making plays to make sure it didn't get out of control. And I think if you play that slow against a team that's as smart and as calculated as Mega Plumbers, this is going to happen. You're going to have games where it just feels like there's nothing you can do because you're not taking fights. You're just letting the enemy team dictate when to take fights. And that is unwise. You have to fight back at some point.
Well, Project Win definitely have to adjust. Some big adjustments need to be made. How will they make them in the picks and bans? Find out after the break.
And then I said, that's not Bacchus, that's Bilson's mother. That one always makes me laugh. But enough about my weekend. Hey, Goremizer, what's new with you?
Just picked up my SMITE 2 Founders Edition.
Very nice.
Purchased it on my preferred gaming platform just yesterday.
Nice skin.
It's Cacodemon Ymir. It comes with all SMITE 2 gods. Forever.
That's very cool, Goremizer, but that's nothing. Look at this. Night Stalker Neath and Ascension passes for 11 Alpha Launch gods. What do you think?
Geez, that is really super. How'd a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Can't believe that Dandy prefers Chelly's Founders Edition to mine.
Very nice. Impressive. Let's see JMax Founder Edition.
Look at that avatar, badge, and title. The tasteful thickness of Tier 5 Fallen Zeuskia. Oh my god, it even comes with Ascension passes for all 23 Alpha gods.
Don't be like this psycho and upgrade your Founders Edition, so you don't miss out on Night Stalker Neath, Tier 5 Fallen Zeus, and Ascension passes for the first 23 gods. Upgrade today.
Upgrade your Founders Edition today. If you have access to SMITE 2, believe me, especially on that lowest tier, you get access to every single god, all gods that will ever be added to SMITE 2 forever. All right, and you know the clip, we're adding gods to the game. It is quick. We're having, 3 new gods next week? We're going to have 3 gods almost every patch the whole way up until January, when we're going to have 50 gods added to the game, guys, and that is something that you want to have access to. You don't want to be stuck on that free rotation. So definitely upgrade, and if you want, you can get deluxe and you can get ultimate. Like I said, the tasteful thickness from JMac on the Tier 5 Zeus skin. So go ahead and pick that up today. I believe me when I say the God Pack is one of the best deals you'll ever find in gaming, especially across every MOBA that exists. So yeah, pick it up and play some SMITE 2. Tons of gods being added all the time. Inbound.
You could be like Gore.
That's
Who
true.
wouldn't want to be like Gore?
I mean, yeah, Gore wants to be like JMax so badly, but
That's true.
It's okay. Project Win would like to be like Mega Plumbers here, and there's a lot of problems that Project Win gotta work through here. You didn't get a lot of value out of the Amaterasu jungle, didn't get any value out of the Fenrir support, and really across the board, you kind of got slapped inbound. So something's got to change in the P&Bs, as you've been saying.
Yeah, and I think it starts in P's and B's, but I think it goes beyond P's and B's. I think you just have to start playing the game. It almost seemed like they just had really no interest in taking any fights early game. They were just there to PvE, clear minions, and that was just about it. They have to be there to make plays. You have to try to make plays anywhere and somewhere. And I think it starts with the Ama and with the Loki, the jungle matchup. The Loki was making plays and was also very hard to punish. The Amaterasu, not really able to gank, not really able to make plays, and was also pretty, I guess only one death wasn't really that hard to punish, but she wasn't really doing anything, so it wasn't really an issue. I liked the Sobek. That was not like a problem, but there just seems like a lot of things that are valuable in these P's and B's, and with how good Mastica looked on the Loki, like how are you switching up P's and B's? Are you going to maybe have to let the Zeus through the Jingwei? Where is that going to be picked? Maybe you'd go to the second pick side and just try to get 2 valuable gods, because jungle specifically, Maskill can't play Loki again. That is what I feel. I think he on Loki is just a different beast. I think he's a different beast on just about any character, but the potential he has to gank and farm and invade and make plays on Loki just supersedes anything else.
Yeah, I really want to see on the other side. First of all, respect to Wolfie's Raw in that game. Dude continues to deliver on it several times, getting about max value out of his ultimates and even helping sustain his team. Really enjoyed watching Wolfie on that Raw. And I was wondering if it would come down to just individual ability. And honestly, it might. Like, you talk about the gameplay, and Project Win got to start playing in some SMITE. So let's get into the picks and bans. And it starts here on paper, but then you gotta make it work in the gameplay. Do they try to go for a Zeus? I gotta imagine if they don't ban him, Mega Plumbers probably will here, but we'll see what they do. They actually ban out Loki, so Maskill will be forced to go somewhere else.
And that is what I wanted to see. That is where I wanted to start with. This Loki was just too valuable, but now it goes over to Mega Plumbers. What is your option? Jingwei is what they call, leaves open Zeus, it leaves open Sobek. I think it's gotta be the Zeus. It's just what SMITE did on the Zeus in that game 3 was devastating. You have to get it for him again. You can give up the Sobek, because that means, you know what Hugador gets? Corby, he gets the Odin.
That's right.
I guess he doesn't get the Odin.
Oh, they're scared. They're scared of it. They'll leave Sobek open. They're like, no. We saw that Odin. You're not getting that one again, buddy. And then, yeah, go ahead.
The Odin Fenrir takeaway is, I think, just really valuable also because with Loki gone, Fenrir is that next best jungler. I'm tired of seeing Fenrir support. Put it in jungle. It's just so much better in jungle. I think there is some like flex potential with it in support, but what it can do in the jungle in terms of the exact same thing Loki wants to do. Double jump, so it's pretty unpunishing. Can farm very well, ganks very well. Almost the same thing. Sobek and Ares on the side of Project Win. It gives them a lot of CC surrounding this Zeus. We get to see another Sobek Odin matchup. I think it was fine. It was a pretty uninteractive 1v1. I think it was mostly dependent on ganks, but that's fine. Again, the jungle is the most important, and so far Project Win has not picked their jungler, and they're going into the 4th, 5th pick, and Mega Plumber still has 2 more.
I mean, surely it's a Susanoo here, right? Or maybe you go for an Athena jungle, but Cernino's actually going to get locked, and that probably means your duo pick will be picked up here. Could be the Athena, could be a Bacchus, although Bacchus tends to go over towards that solo lane.
Wisdom and strategy are better defenses than shields and armor.
So looks like that Fenrir. I mean, it could be a flex, but I know you don't want to see Fenrir in support. Doesn't mean we might not, but I have a feeling that Kalos will be on that Athena.
Yeah, and I think that's what I prefer. I like Fenrir jungle, I like Athena jungle, but I think there's just something different about Fenrir having more prio and more points into his abilities and more farm that makes him just better in the jungle. And I like Kalos on the Athena. It's one of his, I mean, we said this about the Ares, but he's really good on Athena also. Going over to Project Win, they have really 2 options for support, for jungle: Susanoo or Thana. If I see an Alma, I'm going to be a little disappointed because it didn't have too much of an impact, but I really wouldn't hate seeing a Thana. I'm not a big Thana guy, but with how much damage that they have in their kits, from the Zeus, the Sobek, the Ares, being able to execute somebody who's out of position is going to be very, very valuable. It also means it's just like an extra 20, 30, 40% of the tank health bars that they don't have to get through. So if Athena ever does look for a dash taunt, if Odin ever jumps in, or if Fenrir even ever goes in, they can just kind of execute when they're diving the Zeus.
There is a little bit of risk with that though too, because early on, if you're not hitting your death sights, you know, you end up just looking like a fool. I think there's a decent amount of risk going for that Thanatos pick. I love it, because if you nail it, it impacts. He's seemed to have impact on multiple junglers that he's played. When he plays the assassins, that seems to be where he is the most comfortable. But either or, they're taking a little bit to think about it. They're definitely discussing it. You know, I think they've got a really solid core with the Sobek Ares Zeus, and it looks like on her will get locked in with the Ares classic combo in that duo lane, and that does just leave your jungler. Will it be Thanatos? Will it be Susanoo? And it will be Susanoo indeed. I think that's a little safer.
My only real issue with Susanoo is it's not a great matchup into Fenrir. Fenrir just follows him through most of his abilities, has the amount of mobility to kind of keep up with him, and then just kind of outright wins that 1v1, knock up immunity in the 3, so you can't get 2'd or ulted. So that's why I was a little worried about the Susanoo, but I think you're 100% right. Susanoo's safer. It makes more sense. It's easier to play. It's less punishing. Like a bad Susanoo performance means you're still very safe and you still have a decent CC. Bad Thanatos gameplay means you're just kind of useless. So I think the Susanoo is fine. And with Raw locked in to round out Mega Plumber's comp, the CC, the healing, the stuff that they have around this Raw makes it just so easy to play Raw.
Yeah, and Wolfie was looking great on it, so no doubt will be a threat in mid lane. But look, I saw that Zeus on SMITE last time, okay? I gotta believe there's a little bit of impact that he's gonna have, no pun intended. But again, I'm kind of looking over towards that solo lane again. You kind of said it at the end of the last game. or at least after the break, that, you know, Hugador really wasn't an issue on this team. If anything, he might have been a little bright spot, as dim as that light may have been. But I think the comp around this now, my big question inbound is like, how are we playing this duo lane? Okay, Judas Priestley clearly loves playing aggressive. He's got an aggressive god under him now. He has that ability to do that, but will he actually be successful? He's off the Fenrir. To me, the early duo, it may be really indicative of how the rest of this game will go. If you could get Judas Priestley confident in this Ares support, I think we might have a completely different game on our hands. So I like kind of how they were going here in picks and bans, but to me, the gameplay was the biggest issue, and we'll see if they can figure it out here.
And I actually like that you're pointing out that 2v2, because I think it's the juiciest part of this game, because if Ares is ahead, if Onher's ahead into this CERN Athena, it is such an easy game. Athena cannot do anything. The CERN can really not do anything. The Ares can kind of just walk up, not get punished, exactly like last game. And then Honor can kind of jump in off cooldown and just make plays. But if they fall behind, if Ares is getting dash taunted and dying before the taunt even ends, and if Honor is getting dashed by the Cernanos and can't win that 1v1 trade, that is detrimental. So it is a very volatile 2v2, and it is one that you have to pay attention to. So it means maybe Impact has to play to the left side, to the duo side of the map. The issue with that, though, is you're leaving your Zeus out to dry then. Maybe you have to kind of leave that 2v2 and just hope that Nickel and Judas can kind of win that, so you can play around your Zeus. Because SMITE on this Zeus last game, or game 3, I guess, of last set, really no pressure onto him. He was farming, and then he would rotate and just get massive damage off, massive gank potential. I don't think that's happening again. This game, I think he will be getting pressured. We saw it already. The Raw from Wolfie, he is happily to walk up and to start out fights just so that Maskill can walk in and kind of clean up around that. So SMITE has to be careful, because he's the most important when it comes to the late game, but the duo is also very important for early game.
Absolutely, and I think maybe it speaks to Mega Plumber's confidence that they were willing to let Project Win have the Zeus, because again of the person difference, of the guy controlling the god, not necessarily the god itself. And that's still the big question mark, is can you actually shut down a Wolfie Ra? Can you shut down these early rotations? You know, where's that focus going to be? Are you going to try to outright win that duo lane? Where is Impact going to go? Do you try to get Hugador rotating early on, get that Sobek active in the duo lane like he was doing against Chase the Enemy? Because against Sager, he just was not able to rotate as effectively, and when he did, Sager was right there with him, rotating right with him. He's just as good of a solo laner as Hugador is, and so when it comes to that skill diff, you know, when they're even like that, Hugador doesn't get those free rotations anymore, and the guy that leads the charge for this team when they win, it's Hugador at the center of that action. Sure, SMITE crazy on the Zeus last time around, but clearly Mega Plumber's confident to give it to him, but we'll see how it works.
And I like that you're highlighting how Sager played this 1v1. It was I'm willing to sit in lane if you are, but if you're going to rotate, I will follow you and we'll make plays at the same time. And it benefited Mega Plumbers very well, because no fight was a 3v4 or 2v3. It was a 3v3 and a 4v4, because Sager was willing to either proxy with him or just kind of lead the way behind with him, which is something that didn't happen last series. And it's kind of like again, an Odin thing. Sobek doesn't really clear all that well. Odin clears very easily. So you can kind of respond off of out clearing and clearing even with them. But this is something that happened. Yeah, you're good.
No. I was continue. I was like, no one's gonna find out that Kalas is just stealing your buff, and we'll take that speed away. So yeah, perfect. I mean, where are you? Oh no, Kalas getting the speed. Look, it's Ares last time. I don't think he left the enemy jungle. If we saw time in enemy jungle, I think it would have been about 70% of the time he's just chilling back there, making those rotations. Doesn't seem like we're going off that script.
And I like this for enemy supports, when you can kind of just walk at the enemy jungle buff and there's nothing they can really do. And this was Impact into a weird spot, because on the opposite side, this is we get our own speed and we keep the enemy at a disadvantage from not having their speed. So you just have this outright advantage in terms of buff states. Now that's exactly where Maskill's going. Callus has got, yes, he's only level 1, but he has the speed buff. He's gonna hit level 2. And this maybe sets up a gank potential for after these back camps. Maskill hits 3 and then looks for a duo side gank.
we'll at least get a little bit of that buff action. And Hugador gets to play Sobek twice. We'll see how that goes, but Sager proving to be a difficult matchup for him, for sure. At least even as far as every time we've gone over there, it's usually taken a rotation to help tip the scales in one of those players' favor. And again, we'll be keeping a close eye on that mid matchup with the Zeus. And ooh, that's not how you want to start with Judas Priestley. You missed the chain, and that just completely exposes you here in a 1v3. And your Hunter can't do much here except watch the Brutalize absolutely rip you apart. No fear for Maskill. He'll leap. You will pay for your efforts, but you get the first blood gold.
And that's worth. That's a 1-for-1. Yes, Maskill dies, but he gets that first blood also. Zany, though, gets plucked by impact. It's a 2v2 breaking out, but, you know, that's just how quick CERN does damage in these 2v2s. The 2-3 dash combo is instant, and it's incredible burst.
I mean, imagine how different that fight plays out if that chain lands initially. And you probably get a little more impact in the middle of this lane. Instead, you were just running and taking damage instead, but you're back in the lane after using the teleporter, and that Cernanos is really doing a great job zoning Nickel out. They'll be forced to leave it. So duo's going about the same as it did last time here so far inbound.
And this is what you want to do if you're Mega Plumbers, because that 2v2 is very, very important. Everywhere else is kind of self-sufficient. Wolfie should be farming pretty evenly with the Zeus. Yes, he can't fight him, but he's not going to die to the Zeus. Solo lane, I mean, it's a gank happening because you hit level 5 first. That's all this is. Hugador gets punished because Odin out clears and Maskill is able to be there with teleporters. So again, Maskill making plays all over the map.
And allows Sager to proxy that wave, getting maximum tower things all. Project Win are absolutely getting diced apart. Well, this is not how you wanted the early game to go at all. And again, it just comes down to this gameplay diff. Maskill got that first kill and just gets to roam around the map. There's a little bit of support here. Hugador going to chase him down the other way, but Mega Plumbers, the job's already done. They're just going to go back and buy the next stage of their item, the next tier of their item, get the health bars back, and it's full control again. And I just feel like this is the experience difference between these two teams, where Kalas knows that no one was going to be on that early speed buff, right? You're going to have to find a way to respond here, and this is the way you do it. You invade the buff, you get the kill, but Sager lives within an inch and pops the chalice as well. And Impact just going to chase all day. You got to be careful, though. The longer this goes, the more you might get picked. You'll throw it out. You will get the kill, but Fenrir is right behind you. Maskill will trade out for you. And Sager actually gets credit for the kill on his way out. Hugador going to get caught here as Zeus coming in as well. SMITE will kill Maskill. This one actually turns back around on themselves. Judas Priestley getting a chain, and to help get a little bit more ticks on the damage, Hugador going to dive deep for the kill. And I mean, an overextension here, an overextension there. You flips back and forth a little bit, and it feels like you kind of traded back and forth with nothing happening. Zany getting absolutely obliterating Nickel. Excuse me. This Cernanos early on is an absolute force. Zany, his impact cannot be understated.
If we take out this ADC matchup, those are really good trades across the map by Project Win. A steal speed buff there by Impact. Also, Maskill still only level 4 despite being a part of 3 kills so far. This is we are fighting back this game, and that's what I wanted to see from Project Win. It's not just, oh, they're here, let's just give it up. Oh, they're coming to our buff. 50-50 it. They are taking the fight to Mega Plumbers. That Zeus rotation to follow Wolfie gets a ton of damage off. Doesn't leave Hugador out to dry. They get the trade kill. And yes, it's a decent discrepancy in gold right now, but I mean, Jorby, a lot of it is coming down to dual lane. This Honor's level 5 right now.
Yeah, it's not pretty, and it's a 1v2 as well. You are not going to survive. You try to leap away, but eventually Maskill will brutalize you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That tower has basically just might as well not even be there if you're Maskill. Now they're looking at Gold Fury as well. They're so good at hopping on these objectives as quick as possible. This is something that's so hard for Project Win to actually get wind of, but they do get wind of it this time, and I don't think they're going to be able to push it. After the raw ult, I was surprised that SMITE at least didn't try there, but I guess you just die instantly, don't you?
Yeah, I think it was, he thought it was going to be one shot after the raw ult, but I think Wolfie ulted it early on purpose to try to hit the double ultimate, so it kind of threw off the timings, but either way, it doesn't end up mattering because they get it and they get their lead extended. And Sager lives on the right side of the map. I will say, so far, Impact is doing a lot more on the Susano than the Ama. It feels like he's comfortable. It feels like he can make plays. It feels like he can take fights this time. And while it hasn't resulted in getting like his ADC a lead or his solo a lead, he's kind of kept Maskill out of this game in terms of snowballing out of control, because that's what Fenrir wants to do. He wants to snowball out of control, and Impact hasn't allowed him to do that. Impact actually has the lead in that matchup.
Yeah, this is going a lot better. I mean, you're talking, what, there was almost like a 4K gold difference at this mark last time around. It still is on Mega Plumber's side, but you see a lot more peaks and valleys, at least in that XP difference. You do see some plummets, but that was that Gold Fury that gave Mega Plumbers that slight lead that they have right now. And Judas Priestley has not looked too bad here on the rotation. He has focused on the early rotations rather than focusing on that duo, trying to force those team fights, but they're getting caught. SMITE drops the ult and gets a lot of damage off on his way out, and will get the kill on Maskill. So while he goes down, gets all that damage out, Impact also taking down Callus, and this is a different Project win.
And again, they are fighting back. They are taking fights when Mega Plumbers are overextending, which is exactly what we wanted to see. And again, Impact on the Susano is just feeling more comfortable. It feels like it's not him forced to do something. It feels like that's what he wants to do. And it just looks a lot more clean across the board. And so far, these fights have been, you know, somewhat close. But as this game goes longer, SMITE gets more and more dangerous. The Raw is not a super hard scaling mage. He is a very good, just like, utility mage. Like, he's still got good damage, but and he's still like good late game. But the best character in this entire 10 god matchup is this Zeus in the late game. The god just one shot, and that is the worry. But right here again, SMITE's just out of position. No beads.
No beads. No. Wait. Okay. I was gonna say, Wolfie, please kill him. Oh my. And the Susanoo here as well. Impact, though, you're actually losing your health pretty hard here. And look at Wolfie sitting underneath. Gets chained, though, as well. But that sustain just does so much to keep him alive. And look, if you want to know how to play Raw, just watch Wolfie play him. That's how you do it. You get the sustain. You just sit in the middle of it, and there's nothing they can do about it. You survive. You end up killing him. And that's a huge turn there with how SMITE has looked on these early rotations out of mid lane inbound.
All I want from SMITE is just a little bit more protecting your life. You're like the one that should be worried about farming. Judas Priestley does beads and get the blink off. Clean play. I thought he was just taking the death, but he does end up living. But SMITE is the most important player in this entire game. He needs to be safer with his health, or with his life.
I think that, you know, they were feeling comfortable giving SMITE that Zeus. I don't think they've shut him down as effectively as they were hoping, so maybe that's the start. Either way, this duo lane still something to look at. Nickel has not had any success at all, and that story continues as Callus comes in and Nickel goes down. He has just not had anything, no matter what god he picks. Those rotations are just so quick from Mega Plumbers. You think you have time to push up the lane, but then in comes Callus and company to take you back, and there's just no way you can find any safety. Impact has actually been playing pretty well as well, but with levels down on this Sager, you'll need a little bit of support. Cage comes out, and that should prevent anybody from chasing you down here. Nice little chain tapper. And Hugador here as well. Sager just hanging around. He should be able to leap out of this, as everyone's going to take the Gold Fury. Sager happy that all the attention is on him. Now he runs in. He's like, yeah, fight me. Fight me. Gold Fury's down. And Hugador will get the kill, but at what cost?
Again, at least they're fighting back. Yes, they're losing Gold Fury, but they kill Sager, and it should allow them to get a little bit more farm as long as Nickel doesn't die on the left side of the map again. This is not a horrible trade because they're going to be pushing down this tier 1 and right.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Plumbers have had still about the same level of threat in the rotation, but like you said, I mean, the fight back and being able to respond, get trades. I mean, they didn't even have 2 kills past this point in game number 1. So you've tripled your output in terms of your fighting potential. And that's about as much as you can hope for. I think for Nickel, I'm hoping he can find a way to stabilize, because you're going to need him in those late team fights. Zany will drop off eventually if you can match it and you can find a way to equalize, but it will come down to extending the fight, right? And maybe actually winning one of these objectives. That's the next step for Project Win. Sure, you're able to fight back, but you're still losing ground. You're still losing those objectives. So that's the next step. Can you actually start taking objectives instead of constantly having to respond to objectives?
And that is 100% a good point to bring up, because right now, that's really the big discrepancy. It is just losing objectives. There's a couple ganks on the nickel, and maybe he is a lot farther behind than most other people are, but everybody else is trading pretty evenly, trading in fights, trading in gold. It is just this gold fury that is really the biggest part. And if you can set up some wards, you have really good fight potential, especially if it is onto Zany, because Zany has no beads. He has gone blink again. If you blink, or if you get Ares ult onto him, or if you get a Sobek pluck onto him, or Susano can get his 3 onto him, you can kill Zany rather quickly. The downside is CERN at this point in the game does a whole lot of burst damage. We've seen it multiple times. Nickel dead again. Actually, it might be a 2 for 0 because Impact comes in a little bit too late. He has his 1 dash. He does get out. Mass kill looks to be maybe diving tower with Callus. And Impact ends up dying also.
Yeah, as soon as they had the minions, your mass kill was gonna go get that. He's never gonna leave the table. Fenrir's gotta eat. Mass kill. While it hasn't been a complete ransacking from him on the map, it has been effective. 2 levels above the Susano, and really showing his effect in the lobby. Again, the individual difference. And looking a lot better on the Fenrir than maybe you were liking on that Loki. Certainly getting the value that they were hoping for out of it. They're just going to go straight for this tier 2. They should be able to defend it, but they got a lot of damage off of it. Forces the ult as well, but it's on Callus, and you're not going to catch him there.
I actually like this pickup by Callus, also getting the Xerxes Hexstone. Gives you that little bit of extra dashing range. So Athena range is usually just dash taunt range. It is now Hexstone and dash range. So you have to be even farther back if you're Semichu and if you're Nickel and if you're Impact. It just gives him more engaged range. And it gives him that CC immunity also. I think that's something that is not really thought about a ton with this item also, is it gives CC immunity. So if you get hit by an Ares ult, you don't have to ult it. You don't have to use the purification. You just use the Xerxes item on a 90-second cooldown trading at ult. It is very hard to ever actually catch the Athena with no CC immunity available.
Callus is difficult to lock down as it is, even just with the base kit of Athena. Impact, meanwhile, trading back and forth with Sager, trying to hold back another tier 1 attack and a 1v3 on the other side from Huguenot. Actually, there's an Ares there as well, but Judas Priestley, no way for him to get in there. And a rare miss on the raw ult there from Wolfie, but the job done the way you wanted it either way. Semichu is here, but you're still being pushed out inbound. You're still losing that ground in the jungle. You do get a couple of those buffs, but they have no fear, Mega Plumbers, in taking that space. Gold Fury is up here. Project Win need a win on the objective. Maybe they can start forcing the issue. Pyromancer is going to go down quickly for Mega Plumbers. Their eyes are always on controlling that objective, controlling the maps, and then taking the fight as Huguenot is all alone. He gets taunted, gets pushed, gets absolutely destroyed. Zany gets credit for the kill, and now everyone's kind of getting caught out by them lonesome. Project Win, they were together, and all of a sudden just separated. Judas Priestley completely zoned out of any fight. There's nothing Impact or Semichu could do.
And it's such an interesting play there by Mega Plumbers. They've been doing Gold Fury as soon as it spawns. So what does Project Win do? They group on Gold Fury as soon as it spawns. The issue is there's nobody there to actually pull that Gold Fury, and Judas Priestley walks up, tries to get the steal, does end up dying. Mega Plumbers do secure, but Mass Kill does die on the right side of the map. Good pick by Semichu and Impact there. But just an overall really good macro play by Mega Plumbers, pretending like they're going to be going for the Gold Fury as it spawns again, because that's what they've done all game and all last game. Oh, unfortunate for you, you have rotated too hard to one side of the map, so we're going to do the objective on the other side.
I mean, that, again, the experience difference, right? The heads up of being like, look, we've conditioned them. Go to the left side of the map. Let's take the right side. Callus will take down Nickel, and I mean, that's the same story, different minute. Project Win, this is proving to be a little too difficult for them. You want to talk about Project Win in this game, sure. They're kind of getting diffed on right now. And that's tough for Project Win, but they had such a huge comeback win against Chase the Enemy. Imagine they lose that, and now you're talking about them out of the playoffs entirely, but there's almost no way that they get out of that third place spot unless Chase the Enemy, I don't even think it matters, as everyone just gets deleted here. Wolfie will get another kill. But for Project Win, you might as well hang your cap on doing enough to maybe just get to the playoffs and try to get a couple more scrims, a little more training under your belt, because it only gets harder from here, as the detonate not going to be available, but he is absolutely deleting Mass Kill.
Wow. That 3 cooldown is insane. He just used 3 threes, one with the Mirrodin, one with cooldown, and then one just as it was up. And you could tell Maskill did not think that 3 was going to be up again. Otherwise, he probably would have disengaged slightly quicker. But a nice play by SMITE, kind of knowing the cooldowns. And I think that's something that's very underrated once you've played a character long enough. 10-second cooldown right now with no cooldown. And he's got cooldown in his build. But it is something where the more you play a character, the more comfortable you get with the abilities, the more comfortable you get with the cooldowns. It is very, very hard to play into a Zeus with Mirrodin because you usually can get in any slightly extended trade 3 detonates off, and that's what Maskill just figured out right there. Zeus is broken because you can get off 3 detonates.
Yeah, it's really, again, the bright spots feel few and far between for Project Win, as they can't really catch a break right now. They just keep getting caught out. It's another 1v2, actually 2v3, but there's just nothing that Judas Priestley can do with Impact just completely out of sorts. And good luck for it. Judas Priestley sent a couple of chains and said, see ya, Impact. That's pretty much how the game has gone so far here in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, wise play by Judas, though, to just kind of give up Impact and not die with him.
Yeah.
I think it is something that he's maybe struggled with a little bit, is knowing when to kind of give up a chase or give up a fight. And I think it is maybe the upside of this game is, oh, we're losing this 1v1, this 2v2. I shouldn't die with him. I'm going to just give him up. Because, I mean, outside of that play, there's been a few plays.
Oh. Yep. You weren't escaping that one. Through the pillar. Thought there was some safety. They can't see me. Ra doesn't need to see you. But yeah, I mean, look, Project Win, great adjustments against Chase the Enemy. And genuinely, a good adjustment at the start of this game too. We talked about it, you know, taking the fight back to Mega Plumbers, not just letting them stomp you and then just like leaving and constantly retreating, at least getting some trades. But there's so much more work that has to be done in the arena. Fenalt to come through, and this is where Mega Plumbers want to be, want to force the fight. It's a great ult to zone by SMITE to try to keep them back and do a little bit more damage, but it only feels like it's a delay. As Judas Priestley goes down, the Phoenix goes down as well. And this may be a 20-minute end as they go through. There's still another tier 2, so they may just take the jungle camps and not take any unnecessary risks here.
It actually seems like they're maybe going to continue pushing. Callus still had that ultimate available. Takes a little bit of poke, but resets and ults back in. 5v4 available, dash on Impact.
And ulted as well, but Zany will get credit for the kill. And pushed back. Still all 5 up, and only Judas Priestley is back up just now. He just spawned, but this Phoenix should still go down. And Sager's tanking everything in front. Zany gets another kill on Hugador, and there's just simply not too much that they can do. An air result. They'll hopefully get a pull, but there's a beads available. There's always a response available for Mega Plumbers. The health bars are dropped a little bit here, and they don't care. Wolfie's just going to take Nickel down. That leaves only 2 left on the board here, Judas Priestley and SMITE. So they'll just go back, maybe buy their last item, and then go ahead and finish this one. Let those lanes do the pressure for them.
And I think there was a potential end there. If any other god was alive that wasn't Zeus, who has that ultimate available, it's just too risky. Just might as well back up, get this Ancient Fury, get your next item. I mean, you're not 20s yet, but you should still have another item available off back. And with that, Waves will be slowly pushing in left, slowly pushing in middle. We'll probably see a grouping in right lane, maybe 1 or 2 people split off, but I wouldn't even be surprised here if Mega Plumbers try to end this game before next Fire Giant even spawns, because they are that far ahead, and there is always like that chance where you go to a Fire Giant, you look to you know, bait them in, maybe they steal Fire Giant, only 1 person walks in, and it kind of brings you back into the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Mega Plumbers just opt to end this game without another fire.
I mean, you just pick the Zeus and then just win, right? That's the only real problem that they've had so far.
Yeah.
Well, they will pick up all the objectives, though, and I mean, Mega Plumbers just showing you the difference in this group, though. This seems to be DDK and Mega Plumbers group to lose. And again, I think Project Win can at least hang their hats. I don't know for sure. We might need a JMAC confirmation about their playoff hopes, but they need to be in the top 3, and they beat the other 2 teams below that. So I think it will be pretty hard to actually lose out on the playoffs as Project Win. So they have that in their kit, but how about that ult? into the Zeus ult. Hugador, Samichu getting a couple of kills there, and Hugador picking up another one, and that's a huge wipe on that side. Sager's the only one left, but what an ult from Judas Priestley.
And maybe a little disrespectful from Mega Plumbers to just walk into the comp and think the Ares isn't going to ult them with no beads available. Unwise for sure. And the worst part, they all had ultimates available, Jorby. They had their ultimates to use them, and they just didn't use them into the Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They might get this Fire Giant now, too. You're still... At this stage of the game, the levels are starting to even out. You got a couple of level 20s. You're still pretty far down. Level 17 on the side of this Athena, excuse me. But you have on her also actually still level 15. But you're getting a little closer. Samichu level 20. And maybe another cheeky Ares ult or two inbound. And maybe we have a game. But you have all the Phoenixes, all but one Phoenix down. You got to keep those lanes pushed up. It's an ultra defensive look, excuse me, for Project Win. You got to be really careful about how you play your game here.
Yeah, and this Fire Giant is a let's delay the game Fire Giant. This is not a let's go for a tower, let's go for a fight, let's fight them somewhere. This is let's slow this game down and maybe try to get another item before another fight happens. But the issue is Mega Plumbers is still strong enough to just group on these Phoenixes and just try to fight on something. And they have really easy engage still with this Dash Athena taunt. I would also be very, very surprised if they fall for another air result like that. That is probably something in comm saying, yo, let's not do that again. That was the dumbest thing we've ever done.
Now let's see if the brain cells come online again here for Mega Plumbers. And you don't want Winner's Tilt to set in. Nice little impale into a chain. They come out of the gates and they pull him back, trying to get the kill as they're running away. And Kalas will live within an inch of his life. Detonate not available there for Samichu, but they do get a lot of damage off. They do force them out. You say it. You can't push up. It's not a winning Fire Giant. It's a hold them off, try to farm for a little bit longer Fire Giant. It's working out. That Phoenix is up, but it should fall pretty easily here. The left Phoenix up as well will probably be hard to maintain, so those Phoenixes should stay down and make this still a very difficult job on defense for Project Win. The fight under the Titan may be coming here shortly.
And if Mega Plumbers really can do anything here, it's really just Ancient Fury. It's still just such a hard end into a Zeus. Like, the one place you don't want to fight a Zeus is right in front of them, but they're grouping outside.
Oh, and the Raul just misses. He'll dash away. Impact in some trouble, gets out of the woods, and Fenrir actually gets... not sure what happened there, but Judas Priestley will get the kill. Mass kill, somehow got away from it. And there's another pick. They're just going to leave. Well, you got to be careful here if you're Hugador. You don't want to push it too hard. And you will at least push them past your jungle camp. They will get this Ancient Fury, but you're not going to get as much value out of this Ancient Fury as you would had more of these Phoenixes been up with two of them down. That right Phoenix not going to be as much of an issue, but I mean that's a low really impact jungle kill or Ancient Fury kill, if you will. So they've survived for now inbound, but another team fight is every team fight is like you're teetering on the edge here if your Project Win.
The only issue there is that the Raw ult misses. If Raw ult hits there, that's a completely different fight. And it's a rare miss by Wolfie. Wolfie's not one to really miss ultimates, especially off of CC. So just overall strange play there by Mega Plumbers, being such a good opportunity to look for a pick and then miss like the execution. Especially if I tell you it's Wolfie Raw missing something like that. But again, this game is still massively out of range for Project Win. They're still down 2 Phoenixes. The Fire Giant is dropping very soon. So they can maybe look for this tower. Beyond that, though, it's still just like a, we are behind. We only have Fire Giant here. Let's just try to, you know, close this gap a little bit more.
Yeah, you really can't overextend Mass Kill. Meanwhile, going on a solo adventure. Tier 2, here he goes. You hate it, but they're going for it. Judas Priestley will pull him in. Zeus ult as well. Samichu will get some kills, and they get traded out. That's not what they need. Sager takes 2 of them down. That's a lot of damage on the table. They need to make sure they kill everybody on Mega Plumbers now. You've committed. You got to fully go for it. Sager lives for now. Defender Olympus was there. Impact gets the kill, and Project Win fighting for their lives. Impact just wants to die to the Phoenix, and he lives within an inch of his life. Sager's still up. Hugador hoping to hold them back and keep those respawn timers going. He plucks one out of the way. We'll keep surviving for now. Impact is still alive. Has a little teleport, but you get taunted, and Sager will eventually take it down. Hugador Can he find a way to survive here? I don't think he will. You won't get enough healing out of that 3. You will pluck, but Fenrir's got plenty of movement and the speed buff. Jugador should go down here, but Jugador has the jukes and able to pop that out. Has another pluck again, minimizing the brutalize. Still gonna go in for more. He's got support now, and a little toss. You did what you could, Jugador. You bought so much time because now Nickel's gonna respawn. You have 13 seconds left on Samichu. Huge plays there to keep this game maybe locked in.
Your Titan
And I just think that's just too much by Project Win. They got the little win. They got another tower. They got a lot more gold in their pocket, but they just decide to go for this tier 2. This tier 2 isn't game winning. You're not killing this tier 2 and then putting yourself in an opportunity to win. You are still behind. You are still down 10,000 gold. You are still needing to win multiple different fights to be back into this game. It is just and it's something we've defaulted to and talked about a little bit now, where it is an experience thing. The way that Mega Plumbers pushes and pulls you to opposite sides of the map and then makes plays where you aren't ready for it, it's just beautiful. Project Win doesn't have that experience. They don't know entirely what to do in some scenarios, and I think that tier 2 tower is one specific example.
The Fire Giant will go down to Mega Plumbers. Nickel, you're gonna get caught again if you're not careful, because Maskill is buffed up, Defender of Olympus, to make sure you go down. You can leap all day, but your hops won't get you anywhere, as Nickel goes down quickly and has not had the effect on the lobby he was hoping for. But as long as Samichu is alive, you gotta believe that Project Win have a chance to stall this out another few minutes. Both Phoenix is back up.
And really right now, it's just defending this right Phoenix. And the right Phoenix is actually the one they opt to give. They're looking for a pick on a Maskill, who's just really tanky right now. But they'll probably get the kill, but they're just gonna lose the game here, Jorby.
Yeah, you gotta get back there. They called your bluff. They're just going straight for it. They're just going to melt it before you even get there. Oh my God. Mega Plumbers plunge Project Win out of the sewers and into the loser's circle. 0-2 for Project Win. Mega Plumbers just too good, just too powerful inbound. An excellent game top to bottom from them. Well played.
Yeah, it's just these quick calls that they make. They know what they want. They know what they want to do, and they do it quickly, and they do it well. A missed play here or there. That right Phoenix was very not great, getting 4-man ulted by the Ares. Trying to take that fight after getting that tier 1, tier 2, both Phoenixes in middle and left. Also not great. But other than that, just like overall, both of these games, pretty clean by Mega Plumbers. And it's a surprise that it was really not that close, especially with how well Project Win had just came from that last game. But I think it's this experience gap from these teams. Project Win hasn't been here. They don't know what to do in some of these scenarios, and Mega Plumbers just keep making them call bluffs, and like you're either forced into folding it sometimes or you're forced into going all in, and that's what Mega Plumbers does really well.
Yeah, I mean, in looking at the post-game stats, you're going to see a lot of the same that you saw in game number 1 as well. I do think there were some bright spots here, and maybe a huge learning game for Project Win, because there were still some good plays that they made. There were still some good adjustments that they made. And so if they do sneak into the playoffs, I don't know for sure just yet, but if they do sneak in and they get an extra week to keep on practicing, I wonder what they'll look like next week. But the other two in LCQ, Mega Plumbers and DDK, proved to be a little too much for them. And look at Callus, 22 freaking assists, dude. He's too good. My God.
That's like the perfect support line. 2 kills, because you had to confirm a couple of them, 2 deaths because you had to bait them out so your team could win fights, and then 22 assists. Very good overall by Callus. Also, when he would go in, he would barely live, and then he would ult back in with a second life. It was probably so frustrating playing into a healing Raw and then a 2-life Athena, and Mega Plumbers just played really well around that. And Masked Kill this game compared to Masked Kill last game, he was the hyper carry last game. This game, all he did was just setting up fights. He was just trying to ult people, pull relics, and just put them in front of Wolfie and Zany, and then those two are in charge of killing. But this Mega Plumbers team is one to keep your eye on. Very good, very on the same page team that I think is something that is maybe overlooked a little bit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing Wolfie on that Raw too. Raw just becoming available this week was in that we just released you banned phase last week, and we got a little bit of action on the Raw and Sobek, and I think maybe in a different kind of match that Sobek probably has more of an impact in the game. I didn't hate seeing Hugador on it at all, but enjoyable seeing the new gods get some action, whether it be bans or in the picks. And I'm also going to shout out Zany. Zany knew what he was playing, knew that he had to push his advantage early. They shut down Nickel. So often, Zany pushed that early certain advantage that gives you so much damage early on, and they just couldn't respond to that. So the picks and bans really work out well for Mega Plumbers, and they do indeed shore up that second spot. I don't think they've played DDK yet, so that match may end up being the decider for who gets first place in Group A here in EMEA. But Mega Plumbers definitely look like a force. Sager and company look really solid, despite what we saw from Project Win was a team that can make adjustments against Chase the Enemy, right, and play good Smite. But then when you hit a rock that was Mega Plumbers, still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and I think there is something to be said about both of these series. They improved after every game. Game 1 of that first series, not the greatest. I mean, they had a really good early game, but really sloppy middle and late game. And then game 2 improved on that. Game 3 improved on that. And then even in this set, it doesn't look pretty, but they showed some fight. They decided what they wanted to do, and they tried to make plays. Again, experience gap for sure, but that is things that you can grow with. Top 3 is all you need. You don't need to go first here. Obviously, you want to go as high as you can to get that higher seeding. There is something to be said about, though, using this last chance qualifier to just make it in, but still learning in that entire process. And if there is something that could be taken from this, it is that if your dual lane can play just a little bit safer, I think Nickel needs to decide to give up, you know, either a trade or to give up a little bit of space when he doesn't have his teammates around, because he wants to take a lot of fights and he has the skill to take a lot of fights, but he's not fighting 1v1s. Callus is ganking him 24/7. Mass kills coming out of the jungle from both sides. Nickel just needs to play a little bit safer if he doesn't have allies on his side of the map. If they can kind of improve on that, because again, he is very good. He did almost as much damage as Zany did while being 1 in 10. That is incredible. That is crazy good. But you have to be able to play smarter. And that's what I think they need to pinpoint. Just a little bit smarter in those early 1v1s and 2v2s, and then not knowing where the jungler is.
Yeah, and Project Win adjustments, again, Judas Priestley, I think, you know, we were kind of hitting the same nail over and over about his aggression, taking fights where there wasn't a fight. I thought he was a lot better with that. In this game, we saw those adjustments on the Ares shore. You didn't get all the value, but especially late game, you had some really clutch ultimates into Simichu ults that helped at least sustain you for about 30 minutes. And while the game was already kind of lost by then, I still liked the adjustments you saw him make in that mid game. It's just when you're up against someone like Callus, who is so quick, and I mean, look, the difference there is the Athena, right? The Athena movement, you just can't out rotate Callus. It's gonna be impossible. But I did like seeing that, and I think that has me a little hopeful for Project Win into the future. But man, Mega Plumbers looking pretty good. You want to talk about teams that can maybe do some damage in the playoffs? It might be this Mega Plumbers team. They got some good looks. You know, there are some great teams up there in the playoffs, but these LCQs, there's something to be said about playing meaningful matches every single week, even into the playoffs, where you get a lot more of that game experience. Scrims are great and all, but you know, scrims can only make up for so much when you're not actually playing tournament matches day in and day out. So like that kind of experience will go a long way for Mega Plumbers. And speaking of Mega Plumbers, let's talk to their jungler, Masskill. Masskill bringing him in and had an excellent game in both games. We don't have him on cams, but we do have him on voice. Masskill, can you hear us?
Yo, yeah. Hello.
Yo, awesome. Hey,
Hello,
man, yeah,
Mike.
you had a great series. So talk to me a little bit about that game 2. You know, you go onto the Fenrir after Loki gets banned out. Project Win kind of started punching you guys back a little bit. What kind of adjustments were you guys thinking about, or what do you feel like Project Win were doing well that you had to adjust to in that game 2?
Well, I think we adapted because they changed their draft. We were kind of going in with the same mentality as game 1, but we banned. They changed their ban, I think, and they also it made it weird because we had to choose between a couple of characters. So our draft just completely changed because I couldn't get Loki because they banned it. But other than that, we were just getting strong picks everywhere, so we're pretty confident, even though their draft second game was way better than game 1.
Do you think there's anything to be said about playing through this last chance qualifier to just get more games under your belt as a team, leading into this next phase? I mean, obviously you don't want to be in this last chance qualifier in the first place, but do you think just getting extra games that matter is important?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we couldn't make it on the Swiss round because we were not playing by then as a team. We joined the competitive scene on the second open bracket. But it's working out well because we're getting good practice. Well, maybe not the best practice because we would like to play the best teams, but we're getting a lot of practice because we're playing every week. So, yeah, it's definitely helpful going into playoffs for sure.
Who do you guys like looking at the playoff teams? Because that's where you guys are headed after this last win. Who are you looking at in that playoff bracket? Who are you the most confident that you guys can take in that playoffs here in EMEA?
Ooh. Uh, honestly, I'm not sure. We kind of have to do the prep still. I haven't really looked at the team since we were like on a completely different tournament, being in the open bracket. So we have to do the prep, but I think like obviously we're going for top one, right? Like that's what everybody wants. So we'll probably have our eyes on Team Risk. I think is the first seed.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love it. I'll be looking for you guys trying to gun for that number one spot against them. I'll look forward to that matchup for sure. But Maskill, fun watching you on the games today. Good luck in the rest of the stage and the playoffs onwards, man. Have a great one.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
And that was Maskill on The Voice in the Jungle. And he says, we just formed this team. We missed Swiss. We went through the open bracket, so we're still figuring it out. And honestly, that kind of team could be very dangerous going into the playoffs inbound.
Yeah, I mean, that's the team that has the experience and they have the talent. I think teaming up a really good mid jungle like Callus and Wolfie with really good side lanes of Zany and Sager, and then kind of the bow on everything is Maskill in the jungle. Maskill's always been one of my favorite junglers to watch because he's always been exciting. He always looks to make plays. It doesn't matter. I mean, last game he went 8, 8, and 9, but most of the things you remember about it was him making plays. It wasn't the deaths. So I think this could be a very well put together team. Team Risk is still a mountain to climb, but if they keep improving like they do on today, it's going to be an exciting time.
Well, let's take a look at the standings here in Group A of EMEA. We had a couple of off-air matches as well, and you see DDK that 4-0. They actually already played. I misspoke earlier. I thought they still had to play each other, but no. These are the final standings here with DDK, Mega Plumbers, and Project Win do get in to the playoffs. Let's Go Asgard and Chase the Enemy are out. So Project Win, we will get to see them again. I'm curious how they will look in a week's time when the playoffs begin. But this Mega Plumbers team and DDK, we didn't get to see much of DDK during LCQs, but the fact that they're on top of this and they 2-0'd this Mega Plumbers team that looked very good against Project Win, I think speaks to their strength as a roster. So I think EMEA are sending two pretty strong teams here in Group A to the playoffs with alongside Project Win. Not saying they're not a strong team, but clearly a difference here in the top two inbound.
Yeah, and I think we have to shout out how good this DDK team is because Mega Plumbers pretty much dominated this game or this series, and DDK 2-0'd them. So there is something to look forward to, I think, going into these next few phases, seeing how well they play against, the Team Risk team. I think comparing teams to Team Risk is very difficult because of how good that team looks, but again, if teams are improving and Team Risk doesn't have those other teams that are really good to play against to keep improving on themselves, it's going to kind of stagnate their roster a little bit, bring everybody else a little bit. It's going to make it a really good time.
Yeah, it really is. For the rest of, we do have another group as well in EMEA that had some matches going on, but we will be moving over to the NA side of the tournament in the second half of today. So there will be 2 more matches on stream for you guys to watch. But for Mega Plumbers and DDK and Project Win, GG's to them and congrats to them for making it to the playoffs. I'm excited to watch more Hugador. I really enjoyed it, making a little fan out of me for sure. But You know, like we said, like the team risk doesn't look like anybody. I mean, even people that are already in the playoffs don't even look like they can beat them. But those playoffs are going to be next week. We still got more teams to make it to the playoffs. We're going to move over to the NA side of the stream. So you don't want to go anywhere too far. You want to make sure you get back in time to catch the start of the next game. We move to NA. Jorby and Inbound are out, and we'll see you guys next time.